joined by the chair of the Education Select Committee and Rishi Sunak supporter. That's Robert Halfon. Hello to you, Mr Halfon. Thanks for joining us on the programme. We've been hearing from energy companies over the last 24 hours. They want this leadership contest to end and the new Prime Minister to concentrate, I should say, on what is happening as far as the cost of living crisis is concerned. Why doesn't your guy just throw his hat into the... Honestly, I can't even speak this morning. I don't know what's going... Give up, basically. Throw the towel in. That's the phrase I was looking for.
Well, the contest is not over until it's over. There's only less than a couple of weeks to go before a new Prime Minister is appointed. There have been different polls. Polls of Conservative councillors have had Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss level pegging. I think he's got an important programme for the country. I'm supporting him because I think he's trusted when times were tough, and we saw that with the furlough scheme. I think that he's done a lot on the cost of living, providing £1,200, up to £1,200 for 8 million of the most vulnerable families. And I also support him because of what he's saying on education about having a British baccalaureate, more support for vocational and technical education, and more free schools.
It may well be the case, but by any measure, he's miles behind in the contest. And we have a cost of living crisis where inflation could be up to 18% by January. It's all over for him. He just needs to accept that.
I think that members have a right to have a choice of who they would like to have as Prime Minister.
They had a choice and they've chosen Liz Truss, it would appear.
The voting isn't over yet. There's many members who haven't yet voted. When Rishi goes around the country, he has a lot of support. I mentioned the poll of Conservative councillors, which showed both candidates level playing. It's still all to play for. It'll be over very shortly, but you're absolutely right. That cost of living is the number one concern for the nation. And that's, again, why I'm supporting Rishi Sunak, because he says we've got to cut inflation, which is the enemy of the cost of living. We've got to cut our national debt, because the government faces a triple whammy of public spending pressures, national debt, and helping with the cost of living. You've got to deal with those things first before you can have significant tax cuts.
Yeah, and to do that, you need to be Prime Minister. And the big beasts, Sajid Javid, I'm looking at my list, Penny Mordaunt, Ben Wallace, Nadeem Zahawi, Brandel Lewis, Kwasi Kwarteng, Therese Coffey, they're all supporting the other candidate.
Well, big beasts like William Hague, Nigel Lawson,
Neither of them are in the cabinet.
Grant Shapps is in the cabinet, Stephen Barclay is in the cabinet, Mark Spencer is in the cabinet. But this is not just about A-level celebrities, A-celebrities who are, who support the various leadership candidates. It's about the programme for the country. And I believe that Rishi Sunak has a responsible programme in cutting the cost of living, dealing with the debt, cutting inflation, then having a programme towards income tax cuts. And we will need major interventions on the cost of living. We can't have significant tax cuts yet because of the pressures on the public purse.
If he cared, as you say, about the poorest in our society, he would acknowledge that the race is over and fall in behind Liz Truss, who by any measure is miles ahead in the polls, and accept that he's lost.
I think it's right that the members have a choice. And I think Rishi Sunak has shown that he cares about the most vulnerable. He spent £37 billion when he was just Chancellor just a few months ago, trying to help people get through the cost of living, a £400 rebate for everyone on their energy bills, £1,200 for 8 million of the most vulnerable families, a £150 rebate in council tax for most people, a national insurance tax cut, in essence, for 70% of households. It's about what you do. And I think he is right to be able to have a chance to set his programme, not just to the membership, but to the country. The contest will be over very shortly. I think it's right that members have a choice. It's still all to play for.
Haven't they had a choice so far?
Well, the choice is that when the membership vote, and they're voting at the moment, not all the members have voted. There's still a couple of weeks to go. The candidates are going around the country. Rishi Sunak is coming to my own constituency in Harlow in a few days, meeting members, and that is the right thing to do.
You are, as I said, chair of the Education Select Committee. What do you make of the report by the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change calling for the scrapping of GCSE and A-levels?
Well, I believe for some time that we need to look at GCSE and A-levels, but particularly A-levels, because we allow students to narrow at the age of 16 down to just 3 or sometimes 4 subjects. I've been to schools where they teach what is called the International Baccalaureate, where they do a wide variety of subjects. And I think that is a much better system for the world we're entering, the world of automation, the world of artificial intelligence. I do think we need much more skills-based education. I'd like to see more technical and vocational education taught all the way through, and not have a dividing line between some students doing vocational education and some students doing academic. It should be a mixture of these things. So I think some things in the Blair report are well worth looking at, but I should note that Rishi Sunak, who we've been talking about, has also proposed a British baccalaureate from the age of 16, where students would do a much more wider variety of subjects, including maths and English, all the way through until they finish their school.
Yeah, and if I'd done my A-levels, I would have known the difference between throwing your hat in the ring and throwing in the towel. It's good to talk to you this morning. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on the programme. Much appreciated. Thank you.